As Son of God is here, as He is, so am I on earth. 1 John 4 verse 17. Do you know how God sees me? I've just read that, just said to you 1 John 4 verse 17. As He is, His very being, His very identity is my very being, my very identity, my essence. As He is, so am I. Do you know how He sees me? He sees me as Himself. Romans 8 verse 30. Moreover, those He predestined, those He called, those whom He predestined, those whom He also called, who He called, those He justified. Justified just as if they've never sinned. Why? Jesus became my sin. I became His righteousness. I'm legally acquitted of all sin. He paid my sin on the cross. Jesus became my sin. I became His righteousness. And whom He justified, those He glorified. Jesus sees me as glorified. What does it mean to be glorified? God's glory is His presence, His power, His majesty, His nature, His very person. In Mark chapter 9, when Jesus took Peter, James and John up the mountain, He was transfigured in front of them. His clothes became bright like bleach couldn't bleach. Jesus just began emanating light. That's Jesus' glory. Jesus' glory, He was just emanating light, who He is. In Acts chapter 9, when Saul's on the road to Damascus and he's persecuting the church, and a bright light suddenly drops down and he says, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? That bright light that absolutely blinded Saul, that was God's glory. You have been glorified. You are the same. When God sees you, that bright glory, that majesty, that presence, that power. You have been glorified. As a son of God, you've been justified. You have been glorified. When God sees you, just this glory, His majesty, His presence. When He sees you like that. Do you see yourself glorified? Do you see yourself justified and glorified? Because when you see yourself justified and glorified, then you can start living as Jesus lived.